Well, we also have our man here, Phil Wegmann. We got to get this guy, a nickname. You know how we gave Peter Doocy a nickname? We got to give Phil Wegmann a nickname. The Gladiator's already taken, but why don't we start something in the comments here at the Bald Brad Show and get this great man, this national treasure himself, a nickname? Because he goes here and asks her a litany of questions to the point where she couldn't answer any of them. And so he's going through his list trying to figure out what the hell can I ask that she's actually going to answer. His last question is a phenomenal one, folks. Let's go ahead and roll it. Again, this is Phil Wegmann.
Phil, and then I'll come back.
Just like Peter mentioned earlier on, I know that the White House is not going to comment on the specifics of the raid at Mar-a-Lago or the subsequent investigation. But I'm wondering, as the president watches this story play out in the news, just like every other American, does he think that the leaks about the investigation are helpful or harmful to the country? Does he want those leaks to continue or to stop?
I'm not going to comment on anything that's related to the investigation. It's an ongoing investigation. As you know, the Department of Justice is leading that investigation. We're just not going to comment from here.
And then one more then.
I just want to pause it here real quick. That was a layup of a question. And I'm not hounding Phil here. It was a great question, but for Karine, he gave you one, a softball right down the line. Easy question. No, leaks are not good. We shouldn't want those. There's an active investigation going on. I get that you don't want to comment on it. Fine, play that game all you want. But this doesn't have to really do with the investigation itself. It was the president's opinion on, hey, is it a good thing that there's things being leaked? No, probably not a good thing. So I don't even know why she would not be willing to answer this question. Maybe I'm missing something here. I thought it was a great question and a layup of one for her. The easy answer was just no.
Last Friday, the Energy Secretary said at Green Technology in California that state was in the lead and showing the rest of the nation how it's done. The state is currently bracing for blackouts. They've set ambitious goals, and yet in particular, their governor is asking folks there not to charge their electric vehicles. Does the president agree that California is an example for the rest of the country as it transitions?
I haven't seen those specific statements. I would like to see it in fuller context that the Secretary has made. So I'm not going to comment on something that I haven't seen in full. But if you have another question, I'm happy to take.
One, again, great question, because this whole administration is pushing this clean energy, climate change, global warming, all this other stuff, okay? That's our last segment of the day. We'll get to that in one moment with the European Union. California, where I live, is a poorly managed and ran state, okay? From the state itself to the localities. The Democrat Party has done a terrible job. And Phil is right here to call out California of, hey, the rest of the country, in terms of leftist-dominated areas as well as Democrat-ran areas, are looking to California to implement their policies. And California's grid sucks. And California, and I promise we're going to come back to Phil because this last question is one we want to zoom in on here. California's grid sucks. I have lived here for 33 years of my life. It's always been the same thing. This is nothing new. It's always hot around this time. This is nothing freaking new. And they sit there and they're throttling our temperature. They're turning off your AC at times. They're telling you to do all these things while our freaking governor is in a hat and freaking wrapped up in a nice little jacket because he's getting beautiful AC. Very similar to how he's at the freaking laundromat at this restaurant while all of us are shut down. Your businesses are shut down. You're getting hit with violations, fines, some people thrown in jail, but he's going to go eat with all his rich elite buddies, all his Democrat and progressive leftist friends, while we all get screwed here. Very similar to what he's doing now. You're having all this stuff throttled. He literally said over Labor Day weekend to not charge your electric vehicles because the grid can't handle it. We were at level 3 yesterday. Level 3 is the highest it goes, I believe, in ISO for the state of California. Basically saying there's just going to be rolling blackouts. We can't conserve any energy. We're SOL. We don't know what to do. That's where we're at as the state, but it's greatly ran. They know everything they're doing. On top of that, they're trying to implement that all vehicles sold in California have to be electric at a certain moment in time. It's either like 2025 or 2030 or something like that. How are you going to implement that when you can't even freaking do what you already have? You have the Secretary of Energy of the federal government coming out just the other day saying we have to double our grid in order to obtain the type of energy that we need to sustain just the electric vehicles that everybody wants to plug in, that the government's basically forcing the hands? This is a phenomenal question. Baffling that she doesn't even know that's going on. I mean, everybody's been talking about it. You can look on Yahoo Finance, you can look on Real Clear Politics, you can look on the Daily Wire. You can look on almost every outlet. You got to be under a rock to know that all that stuff's not going on. Now, if you're on the Bald Brad Show and you don't know what's going on with the energy, not just in the United States or California or the electric vehicle, the power grids, you're living under a rock, folks. Let me tell you. I know you don't want to hear it, but for the love of God, you got to wake up. Because it has massive ramifications for you and I here, because our bill is going to go up. The price of lithium is going to go up. The price of graphite's going to go up. All these prices are going up. And when we get to the European Union in a moment, folks, they're literally burning wood right now to just get the energy that they need. They're trying to find old, like diesel type of generators to just get the energy going. This stuff is crazy, folks. It just shows you how dumb these climate changes are. Like AOC type of dumb, where they want to implement this Green New Deal. I want to get back to Phil Wegmann here. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just want to follow up with how big of a question that was, and it just kind of gets thrown in the trash. And again, it's mind-blowing that she just doesn't have an answer for that.
So by my count, the White House, you've gotten a lot done this summer. Certainly, there's a lot.
Have we?
I think so.
I think we've said that a few times.
And the president has a lot.
And you guys have reported it too, so you guys have backed us up.
Well, so all of your accomplishments aside, the president still hasn't done a sit-down interview in over 200 days. Is he dodging us? Is there a reason why?
Oh, absolutely not.
Thank you. I've been talking about this on the show for a while. Granted, I haven't been talking about a sit-down interview. I've been talking about getting that president's ass on that podium and answering their questions. Where's the guy been? Thank you. God, I've been waiting for somebody in that damn room to recognize, where the hell is this guy at? Where is he at, everybody? He is dodging you, Phil. He is dodging you, Peter. He's dodging all of you guys. And if you remember, everybody's giving Trump shit for if he would take a moment away. And this is supposed to be the most transparent administration that ever was on the face of this earth. Where's the sit-down meeting, Karine? Oh, he's not dodging you. He's dodging you. He's dodging you, man. To give you just a blunt answer, as an average American citizen that's not into reporting, that doesn't do it as a career, you guys are getting screwed, man. The guy should be sitting down with you, or at least somebody there in that room. He should be on that podium. I can't believe that more people aren't calling this out. This is crazy. Like you said, 200 plus days. Where's he been? And like she's going, oh, well, he's answering your questions. No, he's not.
The president loves talking to you all. He takes your questions all the time. He took Peter's question last Friday. I'm sure Peter was excited about that.
I have another.
No, he took he took another question when we were traveling.
The sit-down interview was much different than when the president.
No, I hear you. The president's he is happy to.
He is exactly right. A sit-down is way different than kind of off the cuff. A sit-down interview or him on that podium without prepared questions, just fully ran, unedited. I want to see that man answer actual real questions. And there's only a handful of people in that room right now, this White House, that can ask good questions. And I'm highlighting two of them. Peter Doocy and Phil Wegmann are two guys that I actually trust that are willing to ask good questions. And by the way, I know that Peter's with the conservative outlet. I don't even know if Phil is a Democrat or Republican. And personally, I don't care. He asks good questions. That's all I care about. I just want to know what's going on. I don't care if the guy's a Democrat, an independent, Republican. I don't care. I just want the man to ask good questions, and he's asking a good one right now. And she's BSing us right to our face. Oh, he answers your questions. He takes the time with you.
To talk to you all. As you know, he does it multiple times during the week. I don't have a sit-down interview to announce or provide or schedule at this time. And look, you guys know Joe Biden. He's been a senator for 46 years. He was vice president for 8 years, and you guys have followed him and have had multiple conversations. Some of you sit-down conversations with him, and once we have something to share, we will share that. Okay.
Help me here. You know Joe Biden, the guy that's a reed in the wind that switched on like half his policies, used to be somewhat of a moderate Democrat. Now he's gone like full extremist here on his policies, spending more money than any president in U.S. history, has record-breaking illegal immigration with so many illegal immigrants coming across the border, more than any U.S. president has ever allowed since the inception of this country, has implemented one of the biggest spending bills on the side of the executive branch in American history. And she has the tenacity to say right there that he's had sit-downs. If I was a reporter in that room, I'd be so freaking frustrated. And kudos to all of those men and women for at least being somewhat professional. It's just the dodging of questions, the lack of answering these people's questions. Folks, you know, I highlight this and I do rip on the media a lot, but I do want to say that, and I've talked about this before, there are good journalists out there that actually take the time to come up with questions and craft it in a very specific way. They want to get their articles out there. They want to practice their First Amendment rights to free speech and get the American people the information they need to know. And it has to be as frustrating as hell to ask questions day in and day out and never get an answer. I don't know how they do it. It has to be frustrating as hell. I don't get it. Honest to God, I don't. But it was a good question because that president should be answering not just reporters' questions, but the American people's questions without it being vetted. I want him on that podium, as do all of you. I want to hear the president talk. He's my president. I know some of you might say, oh, well, he's not my president. Okay, whatever. He's the president of the United States, you guys. I want to hear him talk. I want to hear what he has to say. Granted, it would create great content if he just fumbles through his words like he normally does and loses his train of thought, which he will. But I'm sorry. I want to see him there. I want to see Phil ask the president and do a sit down. I think Phil Wegmann, if I recall correctly, I think Trump gave him sit downs. I think a couple times. For sure one time. I know for sure once. And I'm going back in my memory. That's how long I've actually known about Phil. And I apologize, Phil. I just didn't know your name for the longest time. God forgive me. But, you know, with Peter Doocy, Joe Biden hasn't done any of that, folks. Joe Biden hasn't done a freaking single thing here. And I don't get it. I don't get it. We all know why he's not doing it because the guy's not all up here, folks. He just doesn't have it together. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.